Sasha, welcome to Halloween Daily. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Well, I love this movie, Grafted. I think people are going to be blown away when they see it on Shudder, and some of the images you put on the screen are still kind of seared into my brain. I'll put it that way, in the best way possible. Um,
Excellent.
I think it's going to have a lot of people talking. Can you tell us a little bit about how this project originated for you and what excited you the most to be behind the director's chair for this to bring this feature to life?
All right. So, long story short, I was writing a film that had very similar themes and I was deep into it. And then this came into my inbox. It was written by Hui Ao and Mia Maramara in New Zealand, two Asian New Zealand women. And I read it and I was like, holy shit, this is completely thematically what I've been like immersing myself in for the first year or the last year. So I was just like, this is it. Secondly, I have a little confession to make. I freaked myself out so much at 12 years old watching The Ring three times in a row, but like the Japanese one in the middle of that, that I got really freaked out about horror films. And so I had kind of like basically decided that my poor sensitive mind was too scared to actually get into it. And as I became a filmmaker, I knew I had to make a horror film. I was like, the only way to get over this is to make one. And so Grafted was just this like fantastic excuse to delve deep back into all the classics that I'd loved, but also like go hard into, like everything that had, come out in the last 10 years and so immerse myself in the world. So it was a fantastic experience.
And that is fascinating that yeah, you made that conscious decision to say, all right, let's dive in with both feet into the horror genre, because I wanted to bring that up too. That horror is really hot right now, just in many ways. And of course, the substance, it just Demi Moore just won, and a lot of people. This movie has similar themes, and I think a lot of people will talk about these films in the same conversation. And horror always speaks to the times we're in, and so I was curious. Do you have thoughts on what it is about this moment in time where these issues of body obsession and ideals of beauty obsession and beauty ideals are being presented through these body horror lenses, like in The Substance and like in Grafted?
It's crazy to me. I mean, Grafted and Substance were being made at the same time and basically released simultaneously. And it's like, talk about a zeitgeist, right?
Yeah,
The word that comes to me is rage. Like,
yeah,
I feel like, there's some repressed rage that women haven't really had a platform yet to share. And, these archetypes of how men are meant to behave and women are meant to behave, like a woman are meant to, hold it together and, don't be too aggressive. And I think there's a lot of fucking madness, Can I
yeah.
swear?
Oh, sure,
Okay,
of
great.
course.
I think that we've got to the point where there is space for a woman's rage to be expressed. And what better way? Like women know blood, they know body gore. We deal with it through having babies, through having periods. Like it's fucking gross out there, And so it's almost the perfect genre for us
Yes.
to to express and to explore. And then I think that it's a timing thing, like just the fact that I don't think that we've had the space to say that before, and so weirdly, it's kind of like a dam bursting.
Yeah.
And it's unexpected because it's kind of breaking all these stereotypes of what, we're meant to be. And yeah, I'm really excited for, all the films that have been coming out and just
Yeah.
the conversations that it's having. And, and that it doesn't have to be gender specific in the end. Like people know what it feels like not to feel good in their body anymore or not to feel accepted or
Right.
to have been brushed aside. And so I think those universal truths are still really visceral for everyone. And that's why, the substance has been so popular.
And I do think this almost makes a great companion to that, because again, while there's similar themes, you're taking it. I mean, this is far removed from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood where that's set, and it's a very different POV that you're tackling here. and again, it's in a way even more relatable with way, like you say, she's kind of an outsider and just trying to fit in and just wants to be cool and popular at the end of the day, which everybody can kind of relate to and wants to be liked. Now, you mentioned the gore and knowing the gore and all that. This movie definitely delivers on that, which our audience is going to love. I can vouch for that. Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, without spoiling too much, I mean, there ways masks will say. Can you talk a little bit about filming? It looks like a lot of practical on-set effects were used.
I mean, yeah, I've said before, you know, not delivering on gore is like going to watch a porn with no sex in it. I mean, come
Yeah,
on. Like,
that's right.
how could I do that to you? So for me, that was the most fun. Sound, and and blood, basically. Like, how much fun can we have with that? I think what's so exciting about this story, is that all the gore and the horror is a really intrinsic part of the story. It's like it's not just there for, shits and giggles. It's
Right.
there exploring each moment that she's going through in her kind of like rude coming of age awakening.
Yeah.
Um, so really it was kind of like, how much fun can we have with this? What are the most important moments? And like, yeah, how do we give the audience as much fun as we possibly can? So it's very, very fun to, play with.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I loved it, and yeah, I mean, again, no spoilers, but yeah, the final image that you leave us with, just unforgettable. Um, can if you'll indulge us before we let you go here, every day is Halloween for us, as you might imagine, and I know being from New Zealand and all, and it's not exactly the same as it is here, but do you celebrate Halloween first of all, and what does the holiday mean to you, if so?
Well, I actually was in Mexico for the Day of the Dead
Oh,
this
nice.
last year. This last year, crazy. And that was a really amazing experience. Nothing like I'd experienced before. It was such a celebration, madness, drinking, the most creepy like um, costumes of like, devilish horns, sort of sheep people with blood around their mouths and fireworks and people drinking in the cemeteries with their dead family members. And it was so beautiful. I thought, this is how to do death.
Yeah.
It was really an awakening for me. And then, of course, that trickles down into, I think, the American version of that. It's maybe a little less connected to the actual cemetery part.
Right.
But again, it's kind of like this connection to the fantasy world. In New Zealand, we definitely have Halloween, but not to the levels that we have it here. It is like it's been so much fun being here and just kind of like seeing how far some of these parents go to like make these kids costumes. But I think it's really important that we connect to the darkness, you know?
Yeah.
I think the worst shit happens in society when we pretend that everything's okay, because each of us has a dark, shadowy self, and unless there's a place to kind of, let it come out and play, I think bad stuff can happen. So, Halloween's a favorite for me too. I think it's a good thing.
It's so well said, and for so many things that I agree with there. And again, even going back to your time in Mexico in the Day of the Dead, I mean, I love that connection to it, and to All Hallows Eve and all of that. And I always, kind of, not everybody wants to go that deep and that far into it, but I personally, I love all that, and I think that is so much a part of it that and then like you said, the Americanized version of just giving a little exploration into the creativity and maybe even the darker side of creativity, which is a positive way to explore all of that and release all of that sometimes, I think, as well.
And we don't even realize that we're kind of living out these kind of like pagan rituals,
Yeah.
like that everyone gets dressed up and lets loose for a night. Like it's good. It's good for society. Like Yeah.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you've taken to some of the American traditions in recent years as well. After you know celebrating in New Zealand, but not quite to this level.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, New Zealand loves its horror and its body
Oh yeah,
horror. So, yeah, we I think that's what's so cool over in New Zealand is like, we don't have massive budgets, but we do have a lot of creativity. And I think like horror is an awesome space, dressing up, making things from scratch. Like it's a very hands-on, like community orientated place. So, yeah, I feel really lucky to have like come from there in that spirit.
absolutely. And our last question on the Halloween holiday, if you'll indulge us, we always try to ask, what's your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever worn, and your favorite Halloween candy or treat?
Ooh, ooh. Well, I have to say it's a classic, but The Nun. Yeah, I mean, come on, it's just sick,
Yeah.
It's like it's just the best, and it felt that it was so fun to wear. And then Halloween candy, I'm gonna say, I don't really remember the names of the American candies, but they've got caramel in the middle and they've got the chocolate on the outside. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, maybe like a Milky Way, maybe.
No, I like Milky Ways, but
Um which one is
it's a yellow box.
the yellow? It's not a Butterfinger. No.
What's
I don't know which one.
I'm gonna say chocolate. Let's just say
So
chocolate with caramel,
chocolate with caramel. There you go.
whatever that may be.
That works. Yeah,
Yeah,
our viewers will correct us and remind me which one why I'm blanking on it.
yeah, exactly. On Instagram, if anyone remembers, they can message me and
They will.
we'll circulate that information.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the fans will be sending you those as your favorite candy now.
I love it. Let's do it. I think we should start this new custom. I'm down.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, again, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're super busy today, and I love the movie Grafted. It's coming out as we're recording this. We're just a few days away from it premiering on Shutter, and again, I know our audience, the horror loving audience, is really going to enjoy it, and I think it's going to have a lot of people talking, and is like we want from our horror. And I mean, we love the blood and guts and the gore, but you want a little conversation afterwards as well. I think that's what it's all about, like you pointed out, and that's such the right space for it right now.
Awesome. Well, it's been so fun chatting. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And we always hate saying goodbye, but every day's Halloween anyway. So I always wrap by saying Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.